strongly believe that it should start from home and work its way inside the school system.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the school system is at the mercy of whoever, it's basically a business. But if we could get like families to want more for their children, like the possibilities are endless. Because it's gonna have to take both like parents and the school system to expose your kids to something different.
What are you doing today that makes you better than the person you were yesterday? That is part of the Ascension brand. That is the motto, the heart of what we stand for. When I pass away, I want people to know. I want people to remember me, not for the time that I spent on this planet, but for the things that I have done to contribute to society. My mama raised a loser, but I broke the chains. I wasn't made to be a player, I was made to build a game.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Dirty Trunk Podcast, where the elephant is always welcome. It is me, your boy Marcus Morton. Always here with me is the Aaron Mack. We are back, people.
I gotta get this camera thing right, man. Cause I got the camera right on top of the screen, but like if you see my problem here, your face is right here. So when you talking, I want to look at you, and when I'm talking to you, I will look at you, but I look away from the camera. So I gotta figure that out, man. Maybe I just need like a smaller screen with like the camera just like right next to it to kind of put it there. Cause it's weird looking at a camera lens when you're talking. This is like the strangest thing. It make me feel like my YouTube days all over again, man. It's weird.
Staring into a piece of technology,
right?
Almighty eye.
The big brother. Speaking of big brother, man, Alyssa got this driving app thing, man, and like like the little snapshot thing that all of the car companies are doing, bro. How you feel about those?
Not really sure I know how they work. Because even with like your standard,
they don't work.
OBD link, like, does it log in like how fast you're going? Like, how does it know that, all right, at this section where you're driving, the speed limit is this? Is it just?
So get this, right? Like they used to all run on the ODB, right? Now, like her joint don't even run on ODB; it just run off her phone. Right?
I mean, do you still have to hook something to the car?
No. In fact, if you hook something up to the car, like if you in the car and you using Bluetooth, that joint dock you as using the phone while you driving.
What?
Yeah. So they trash. They trash for that. Like I can't even listen to music from my phone when I'm in the car because the phone just the insurance company is gonna say I'm texting and driving. So yeah, it's trash. I just wanted to know if I was tripping with that.
No, that's crazy. That's a boss of false move. That is totally false.
Facts.
Invasion of privacy. But I've noticed that some cars are actually, they kind of do it automatic, or like if you at least connect to them Bluetooth, if you get like an incoming call or incoming text, like since it's hooked up to the car, it will make like an automated message, be like, oh, hey, this person is driving.
Oh yeah, our cars do that.
Right.
Yeah, and we can and I think in our cars we can also do like a voice to text kind of situation. Is that right, Lee? Yeah, I think we could do it. I've never done it. People don't text me usually, so I never really get a chance to test that feature. So yeah, I guess the world may never know with my Sonata. Yeah, man. Yeah, so I got a funny story that I wanted to share on the podcast, something that happened to me and Alyssa yesterday. Yeah, so we have been known to be seen doing I wanted to say questionable things in the car, but that kind of puts a bad bad image out there. So now I won't. I'm not gonna say that. But people have seen us in our car doing like maybe snuggling or kissing and things like that, and like they get confused because they're like, y'all grown, why y'all doing that? But so yesterday Alyssa was feeling she was feeling like she was full of attitude, I guess you could say, and rebellious in nature. And I guess I said something out the way to her, and she decided to climb across the seat, over the center console, and into my lap. So much so that her head may have been somewhere between my knee and the steering wheel as she dangled over my lap with her arm over. Stop. This is my story. I'm telling the story. And the first thought that came through my mind, I wonder what this would look like from the outside of the car. Or you want to come tell it? All right, then. This is my story. So she's saying that her head was on my shoulder. I don't feel like that. I feel like her. Yeah, shoot. No, because your armpit was over my face, so your head was in the opposite direction. Anyway, so my thought was it don't matter where her position was. She was in a spot in a car where people were not meant to be in cars. so I was just thinking, like, I wonder what this would look like to somebody who walking past. So as she's in there, and we both laughing and joking about it, a guy comes walking past, and it's one of the dudes from Inbound who don't know us from Tom, Dick, and Harry. Young guy walks past. He says, he looks back. He's like, and I can see him out the corner of my eye. And I didn't look over at him, but he's just like, yo, like, and then he started pointing. It was another dude walking past him as he started freaking out, and he was like, yo, like he was like pointing at the car like sporadically, and we hopped out, and he was like, yo, I thought you were there, bro. So yeah, that happened. Yeah, he was like, I was about to bust the window out the car and everything else. Come on. Man, so yeah, that fun
tinted windows. You gotta have tinted windows these days, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I made that statement yesterday. Gotta link up with your dad soon, man, to get those windows tinted, because it's getting blazing hot outside nowadays, man. It's
true.
Think the heat reached up to like 94 one day last week.
This week, actually, I think. At the start of the week, I know it got pretty hot, and then like the last 2 days of work that we had were pretty cool, which threw me the hell off, because I'm coming out with like,
I'm talking
shorts and
straight off
short sleeve, and it's just like, whoa, what is this? I might have to put the heat on the car today.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. That's Virginia weather for you, though. Cold in the morning and freezing and like straight burning up at night. Temperature drop between 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock in the morning and be like 40 degrees. Yeah, that's Virginia for you. All right, man. I guess we could go ahead and get started. We ain't get on here to talk about the weather. That ain't necessarily our podcast. We let the storm chasers do that. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So what's been going on with you, man?
Not much, man. Since we've been, having that overtime at work, bro. This is the first time I stepped on this room for this computer, man. I feel ashamed. I'm like,
It be like that, man. It be like that.
I was like, but work, man, like it. And we ain't really gonna get too deep in work, but like it's been crazy this week. I mean, it hasn't been nothing we couldn't handle, and if it was something like outrageous, you know, the work still got done, but like people were just, I don't know, they were like in their feelings, man.
I'm talking in their feelings, bro. Everybody.
I was like, it's not that serious. Like, it's just you come to work, you do your, well, in this case, we did 11 hours. You just go home.
Oh, you did 11?
Yeah. What you mean?
12. All 4 days, 12.
I mean, you're in a little bit higher position.
You bragging about you bragging about how much time you don't have to sell. You bragging. I'm talking.
That's another thing. Oh, I gotta look at the schedule right after this. So I was supposed to start my new schedule this week, but I guess they were like, so he doesn't have to worry about it.
Your new schedule.
Yes. I'm on that flex shift, baby. So yeah, supposed to start that this week. But they were like, I guess just give him his regular schedule and then he'll make, pick his days next week. So that's what I've been doing. They should put up more days today. So I gotta look at the schedule and pick my days. But that's about it. I'm a little hype about that. A little bit of freedom is coming my way, so I tend to abuse that to the fullest. What about yourself?
Yeah, man. Just in the light of everybody this week, just not even speaking to you when you speak to them. Just going back on what you were saying about how people like started to change in that place during this little rise and workflow. Yeah, thank you. But yeah, man, just kind of noticing like, yo, you are really, really big empath, and I'm gonna need you to be careful. Like, yo, like I had to look in the mirror one day. I'm like, yo, whatever happened, you let it you let it shake off. You let it fall to the floor. You do a little dog wobble or whatever you want to do and let it shake off to the floor. Because that ain't you. That ain't on you. And I remember like I started thinking back on like one of the first years I started there. And and I had the same thing happen to me, man. Like I went in one day and I was real positive, and then like supervisor started yelling about something, coworker started yelling about another thing, and I'm like, yo, like next thing I know, I'm in a bad mood. And I was like, yo, thinking about it, sitting at the table with a whole bunch of folks who all bitching and complaining about something. I'm like, yo, I just realized something. I'm not in a bad mood because of anything of my own fruition. I'm in a bad mood because of y'all. So I'm gonna go eat in the car. Fuck y'all. Oh yeah, man. I had to realize like, yo, you a really big empath, so you need to make sure that your energy is intact where you are. And to the point of what you just said about the overtime, man, I feel you on that. Like the spending a whole lot of time at work and not being able to do what you supposed to do. Bro, I haven't written as much as I wanted to in the last week. And I was like just talking to Alyssa about it a few days ago. And I told her the same thing. I haven't written as much as I wanted to. I haven't gotten as far in my current project that I want to reach. So like it's crazy though, because it's like, yo, you feel like that. It's like in the brain is weird because like I chose to spend more time at work, but yet I still feel bad about not being able to accomplish what I want to do. Like it's the strangest thing.
And that happens a lot. Like we talked about it before, making those heavy sacrifices. And in some cases of that, like you have to kind of like rewire your brain to say, all right, it's gonna benefit me. It might not be right now because of that microwave mentality, but later down the road, I'll be more stable, more set up to handle the things that are coming my way.
Right.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, man.
Trying to think how we're gonna roll into the topic.
Yeah, we didn't actually come on here like just talking to like the audience or whatever. We didn't actually come on here with a topic this week. I have no idea what we about to talk about. I don't know if Marcus got a topic or anything like that.
I thought we were gonna do the how people were brought up, the different environments, how environments.
Oh, that's what Alyssa was talking about. You know, it's crazy because like before we started, right? Alyssa was telling me, she said you had an idea last week, and I was like, I don't remember that. And she couldn't tell me what the idea was, so I was like, I don't remember that. That ain't happened. So yeah, product of our environment. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. But anyway, so look, all right. So yeah, I wanted to bring this to like the entire group, especially like Courtney being from rural Baltimore, you being from like country Lawrenceville, me being from semi-country urban Petersburg, Alyssa being from suburban Colorado. Like we all come from 4 completely different environments, right? And I wanted that conversation to come to like connect at the table, just so we can compare and contrast like how we grew up, because like a lot of people feel like you are a product of your environment. Like you are only limited to and able to reach and achieve the things that are put in front of you based off of the things that you have in your immediate area. And why did I go into this direction? It's because I was at a graduation, a high school graduation recently, and it was in Williamsburg, Virginia. For anybody who is not in Virginia who listening to this, Williamsburg is like one of the first settlements in the entire country. Part of the original 13 colonies, like one of the, like being the first place. Jamestown settlement was like the first place where the English started colonizing when they got over here. There's a history buff somewhere probably about to shoot all on this episode, but anyway, not the point. Very historical town. A lot of money goes through here. Tourist attraction location, things of that nature. But you know, rich community. I'm talking rich, and not even just rich. And like you say, like a rich community, you thinking like, and where I come from, you say rich community, you say, all right, ain't no black folk out there. Like we talking about like product of our environment, bro. Like where I'm from, you say rich community, bro, it ain't here. So I don't know what that looked like. Like so, I'm talking like a community where like I read the principal's name, and the principal was whatever his name was, the 4th, and I'm like, oh, okay. So these people carrying on some stuff. They carrying on some stuff, and they ain't carrying on baggage, right? They ain't carrying on the on luggage full of bricks. They carrying on actual principles and family values, and and like the difference between my family and Alyssa's family, like as a contrast of where we come from and like how we and like what our habits are as a family. Like, yeah, of course, every family has its ups and its downs, but like, yo, we like my family, because of where they came from and because they have the mentality of the place that they came from, it's because it's all learned mentality, right? They like, I can see a big difference in just the culture itself. So when I was sitting at this high school, I'm like listening to like, first of all, I was reading the program and I'm like, yo, they having a commencement speech at a high school, bro. Like I've never seen that before. And I haven't gone to a lot of high school graduations. This is only the second one that I've been to, including my own. Like I ain't never seen that, bro. So like when I was reading that and I saw it, like I was like, yo, this is different. I saw all the honor students, and I was like, yo, I wonder what happened there. Like how they what makes an honor student in Williamsburg, Virginia. Because I remember an honor student in Petersburg, bro. You just had better grades than everybody else.
Yeah,
bro, I'm just being real. You just had better grades than everybody else. Like you ain't necessarily do nothing to be honored. You just had a good grade point average, bro. Like, and if anybody just jumped up there and had a good grade point average their entire 12th grade year, they were good. They walked across the stage with a different tassel over their shoulder. So when they started talking, man, and they started telling what these kids were doing, like they all had like projects that they had to do, man. And I heard some amazing stuff that these kids were doing, man. Like there was one girl who did she interviewed, like she went out of her way to make this part of her project to interview people who were impacted by the COVID-19 job loss. She went out of her way to interview people who lost their jobs due to COVID to see how their lives changed, to make a hypothesis, to do a report on how that changed the overall economy. There was one guy who was doing like a nuclear physics project.
What?
Yeah, my point, right? Like, bro, like there was like, and I don't necessarily remember everything that everybody was doing. Like, I just know that they were like talking about these kids and like calling them out, like telling them to stand up, giving them their props, and was like, this person has done such and such and such and such, and everybody in the crowd was just like, ooh, oh, what? Yeah. Like, bro, like I ain't never seen that before. So when I saw it, I was like, yo, the first thing I looked over at Alyssa and told her, I was like, yo, our kids had to be in environments like this. Like, no question, our kids had to be in environments like this. Like, we can't let our kids grow up where I grew up, which is a problem because we are where I grew up, and I can't imagine sending my kids to the public school system where I grew up at, because like, yo, I remember when I was graduating back in 2009, I just told my age. Remember when I graduated, our class, we were doing SOLs, like doing the standard of learning test. Is our standardized test in Virginia. We were doing our test. That's for people who didn't know. We were doing our test or whatever, and our school wasn't accredited.
Ooh.
So we had kids who was like, yo, I'm trying to go to college, and this is where I'm from. Like, that does not change. Like, no matter what I do, I can't change the fact that I spent 4 years in an unaccredited high school because this is where I lived at. So we were in the books, man. I mean, I'm talking like the whole class of 2009. We struggled to get the school accredited. We learned everything that we could to pass those tests, because they said that a certain amount of kids had to pass the SOL test to get the entire school accredited. And I think if I'm remembering correctly, I think only 2 people failed the test. Only 2 out of 400 people failed the test. So we got the school accredited just for the following year, for it to be unaccredited because they did so low on the SOL scores.
That's crazy.
And that's the type of environment that we live in, bro. But go ahead.
Because our school kind of went back and forth like that. I don't think it was ever. I I forget which year we actually did fall below the accredited, threshold or whatever. But luckily, we did get a credit and we maintained that. But like what you were saying about, like, the other schools, and I've heard it, like I've talked to people and gotten where they grew up of, or like what their high school offered. And it's so much more. Like
bro.
Even Courtney being from Baltimore, they were more geared towards trades. When you come out of their high school, you at least would know like a trade, if it would have been like childcare, nursing, auto or something. all my school had was auto tech, and the year it became available for me to take it, we lost that class.
What?
Did you get that?
Yeah.
That
okay.
right.
Anyway,
all right. We lost that trade, and I was heated. I was like, yo, I finally, that was something I was looking forward to taking. But like in other places, like I said, they have way much more. They're more financially stable. Their school is more financially stable. When I was going to school, we almost lost our music program because we didn't have enough money. And it's a culture shock going somewhere else and like seeing all that. Like they having freaking gourmet meals and all that other stuff. We having, chicken tenders with that squarish looking roll that we always get.
Or they mess around and give you the pizza that's made with like with the regular bread.
Yeah.
They ever made that for y'all? Bro, they gave us the joint with it was like marinade. It was like a slice of Little Debbie bread.
Not Little Debbie.
With the marinara sauce on top. Get this. A slice of cheese and pepperoni. Yep. That was lunch one day, bro.
We ain't never had that. That
was lunch one day for us, bro. But yeah, like for real, I want to go there. Like you said something about the trade stuff, man. But like I fail to understand why certain trades are offered in certain areas, bro. Like why, like if I'm going to the school, right?
True.
If I'm going to a certain school, why are you only allocating me to be a car mechanic, and not a technician, not a technician. Mechanic. I want to make it. I want to make it a difference. You're not teaching me to be an engineer on how to build this stuff. You're teaching me on how it works. You're teaching me how to maintain it. Just to maintain it. You're not teaching me like the underlying stuff. Like I don't get to be an engineer when I come from your school. I don't get to be a politician when I come from your school. I don't get to be a doctor when I come from your school. Like I don't get to be none of the stuff that's going to actually make me a good amount of income, bro. Like I'm learning childcare, I'm learning cosmetology, I'm learning nursing, bro. Like for real, I ain't got no problem with nursing, but why you not teaching me how to be a doctor?
Oh,
if you know that my community struggles with teenage pregnancy, bro, why do you have a child care course in your school, bro? Like these are things that I have questions to that nobody could ever answer, bro. And like I remember, and I remember growing up, man, and like having conversations with people that I grew up with, and bro, they ambitions was low. I'm talking straight low, bro. I'm talking like, yo, for real, like their idea of fun was fighting.
was fighting,
bro. Like, yo, they go outside and they yell wrong street, and they repping off streets that they don't even own, bro. Like I'm talking like people who like, yo, they idea of fun is going to the mall. Their idea of fun is the movies, or they look at movies and they say, yeah, that can never happen in real life, and it'll be a non-fiction movie. Like, like they look at stuff and they culturally discriminate against things that's outside of them because that's the culture that I grew up in. That was my culture, like the place that I grew up in. So these people are looking at things like on a level that we looking at things. They don't see the underlining success principles and things that are around them. They just see, they like tunnel vision. They just see what's in front of them, and they don't have anything in front of them, so they never get to see anything. And I argue with people all the time, like, yo, how do you change that? And I'm like, yo, you had to change that from the ground up. It has to change from the ground up.
Yeah. First, I strongly believe that it should start from home and work its way inside the school system.
Yeah.
Because the school system is at the mercy of whoever, it's basically a business. But if we could get like families to want more for their children, like the possibilities are endless. Because it's gonna have to take both like parents and the school system to expose your kids to something different.
Yeah.
That's why when I got into college, I'm so grateful to my counselor that got me into the Make It Happen program, because that's all it was about. It was mainly basic towards, all right, let's get these group of Black men and let them see something different. Let them see anything but the stereotypes of most of their kind is in jail or obese or high blood pressure. They only know this, that, and third. And we had this little joke. It was like when we're staying in these hotels, someone comes and walks up to you, because it's a group of Black people with bags, people instantly be like, oh, they must be a basketball team, football team, or something like that. We were together, so we they thought we actually had a group of people come up to us and ask us if we was like some type of basketball team or nothing, and our counsel was like, just tell them y'all part of the chess team and y'all going to nationals. and we did that jokingly, but like it happened more than once, and we were like, yo, he was right. Like people outside see us differently.
Hold up. So you were in this group of people who were assumed to be basketball players?
Yes.
I can see they say football, Mark.
No, they actually, we was a basketball team. I mean, the guys that I was rolling with was a lot taller than me. I was the shortest person, maybe the second shortest.
Oh man. Oh, I'm sorry. No.
Yep. Whole basketball team.
Oh God.
Test players.
Oh God. All right. Ooh. Whew. All right. All jokes aside, man. All jokes aside, I had to say something to people who are unlearned. I have to say that you were just unlearned, because like there's no other way for you to. There's no way I can't fathom anybody being intentional when they do this. But a lot of people feel like the school is just meant to babysit their children.
Yeah.
And I want to say this because like I remember having a conversation with this one guy. He was an older gentleman who was his mindset was where I'm at. Like, yo, I'm tired of seeing our people losing. I'm tired of seeing young kids who throw their lives away doing nothing when there's so much more out there. And I asked the dude how to fix it, and he said it can't. Now, this is an old dude who was in the Army for 20-some plus years, retired from the Army, went to go work at Walmart, and was working at Walmart for, I think, 16 years at the time. So he threw his life away just punching clocks. So he's like on his regular day-to-day grind. He's like, I guess he watching the news. He like seeing people getting shot. He's seeing people getting robbed. He's seeing all this crazy stuff that's happening in the community. And mind you, he don't live in a different community than I live in. He live in the same community, but he didn't understand that what I was trying to tell him, that he was part of the problem, because he was one of the people who feel like if a kid go to school, then the kid learns something, then the kid get out of that hole. But what I was trying to tell him is that if the kid don't learn how to get out of the hole, then the school can't teach that kid how to perform and move past the hole anyway. So what I want to tell people is that the school is not meant for babysitting your kids. The school is meant to reinforce the values and principles that are taught at home.
Mm-hmm.
So if you never teach your kids those values and those those principles, then they go to school and they learn it from all the other kids who don't know nothing about life.
Yeah.
I'm just being real. They don't. I was a kid before. I was dumb as hell. Ridiculous. I made up a whole bunch of shit in my mind that didn't make no sense, that had nothing to do with nothing, and I thought it was true. I thought it was reality. I mean, I swore I was Mr. Know-It-All. I swore I was. And at the age of 16, I did. I got mad at stuff that I didn't even need to give my energy to. I was focusing on things that had nothing to do with my future, and that's who I was as a kid. Why? Because those values weren't taught at home. It was my environment. But here's the thing that I need y'all to understand. Your environment is not your reality. It's only what you see. So I came from a bad neighborhood. I came from a broke family, semi-poor family, but I refuse to die like that. My environment didn't do that for me. And you got some people out here saying that because I'm from here, because I'm this, because I'm that, because I'm black, I would never be rich. Oh, really? Oh, really? You got people. I know people personally, Mark. I know people personally with the same skin color I got, bro. The same skin color I got, who looked me in my face and said that black men can't be rich, and they meant it. Even though they see black folk on TV.
That's what I was about to say. I was
Illuminati.
Like, we got promise. We got so many examples of black, if we're going that right, black men, black women, black people being successful. And like you said, it's his environment. His environment is so stagnant that it polluted his mind that he can't get out of it. And all it takes is for that person or any person to filter out the negative things in your environment, take the positive things and just put it back out there, pass it down to your kid, pass it down to the kids in the environment, because it takes a village to raise kids. My neighborhood, even though like my mom, she was kind of, she was very loving, she was very overbearing, very protective. Sometimes I just go for walks, just walk around the neighborhood, especially when we got my little brother's dog. It was a lot bigger dog. It wasn't a house dog, so we couldn't just let it sit outside or let it sit in the house. You had to walk it to keep it in shape or whatnot. Walk around the neighborhood. She was like, you going by yourself? I'm like, not really, I got the dog. He's like, sure you don't want Elijah to walk? I'm like, Elijah don't want to walk. my brother, he was glued to the TV at this time, but I was like, I got my dog and I got my twins. My twins were my friends had bought me this knife set. I think it was like Winchester or something. It was a black and silver knife.
I got plenty of those.
They were the same kind, somewhat. One was, the black one had the the little ridges in it, and the silver one was real smooth. It was straight edge. I think that's what you call it. But anyway, it was just, she always saw our neighborhood as like the rough and tough, something to be feared. But I'm just like, everyone knows us. Like my family was very well known because my mom, she was a school teacher, so she had to know.
Oh yeah, everybody know her.
Exactly. So I can't do nothing. Can't get in trouble, can't do nothing. And then my dad, he tints windows. Everybody wants their windows tinted.
Everybody know him.
You can't do nothing. I'm telling you, bro. So because she grew up there. That's her hometown. My dad, he's from the town over. So he's more, laid back, and it's real crazy because his school was mostly kind of like predominantly white. And then where my mom grew up, it's kind of it's kind of a mix, but it's more black, you know, it's more yeah. So I think it's crazy, and it's great that they came together, because you get two sides. You get this, oh, the neighborhood is rough, there's nothing here. I mean, even though our town before it was what it is now, we had peoples, like if you drove into town, like it was flourished. It was like, you know, something to behold. It was like a shop at each building.
It was
had like
actually civilization there, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it wasn't
then,
like a cornfield.
Eventually, you know, we just got to a point that it kind of just died off. You know, the wrong people were in the wrong spots, and it didn't grow. It died.
Oh man.
But luckily, we do see some change. There is some life coming back to it. Hopefully, I really hope we get back to a point where it was flourishing.
Yeah.
I was pretty young at the time, so I only got a glimpse of it. So I probably came in at the end of its glory days. So it's no telling what the glory days would look like. But I say all that to get to the point of, like, two people from two different environments came together, and they passed down their mindsets to me, my brothers. I kind of connect with more of my dad's way of thinking. He's more laid back. It's not always as crazy as it seems. Like, people are gonna, you know, over exaggerate stories, like, oh, you know, we from the hood, this is rough and tough. It's not really like that. Yeah, you might, you know, have struggles, but you can get out of that. That's not something you have to stick with. Even though this is your environment, this is your box, this is where you start. This is not where you're gonna finish. And I'm really glad, like I said, that I got to be in that program, because it did expose me to a lot. One of the internships I got to go on, I got to fly out to Syracuse, New York, and work with them and see how, you know, that whole university, how it works, what they offered. And that, I think that was a engineering school. So they did everything dealing with engineering, bioengineering, mechanical engineering. Yeah. The guy I was working with, he was working with parts of, like, medical bioengineering. We worked in the lab, and we tried to figure out how to you know, regrow bone cells and whatnot.
I was doing like some real life work.
Yeah.
Some stuff that's gonna make some real impact. Like, and I bring back what you just said, man. I'm sorry, did I cut you off?
Not really. I was trying to finish up the story. Long story short, like, it was a culture shock. Like, at first I was like, yo, I'm gonna be inadequate here. Like, I'm gonna have to try to, you know, catch up and, you know, figure out what they're talking about, learn the you know, terms for whatever they're talking about. But it wasn't that case. Yes, it was stuff, you know, that I did learn in high school or whatnot, but it wasn't like this. It wasn't rocket science, basically. It was something that you could grasp easily. It was basically, you know, your numbers, ones and twos, you just put them together and you got a product. And I was like, why wasn't this taught, or why wasn't this pushed for us to do back?
Or why was it overcomplicated when in my environment?
Right.
Because learning in of itself was overcomplicated where I come from. Like, for real, like, you get an equation, a math equation that 1 + 2 = 3, but, you know, we got to find X to find it, and I could have just told you that, you know, it was 3. Like, for real, like, we got to overcomplicate everything, and it's because it's like, all right, I feel like this group of people is so inadequate in their way of thinking that we got to go all the way around the world in order to teach them something, when we could just go the easy route and just say, all right, it's this simple. Don't even overthink it. It's this simple. And our school system did that a lot. But I want to go back to what you said about your mom's talking about your neighborhood or whatever growing up. And like, hey, that really brought me back, because that's like one big similarity that we have. My dad's side of the family, I mess with their way of thinking a lot more than I mess with my mom's side of the family, bro. And I don't talk to them as much, and it bothers me a little bit. But you know, I don't really have a way to contact many of them outside of like when like some random ass person hack everybody's computer and somehow find everybody to send them invitations to a family reunion every 5 years. It's weird. I don't know how that happens, but you don't keep in touch with people, but yet they still find a way to find you. I don't understand how that happened. I must be using 23andMe and some shit. But yeah, like my mom, man, like growing up all the time, my mom used to say how bad our neighborhood was, and how dangerous it was, and how people on the streets could do me as a kid. I'm like this young dude running the streets and stuff. Like I had a group of friends that I ran with who they used to smoke weed all the time. They used to get in fights all the time, and like they particularly looked like they were no good. And my mom used to, like when I used to roll with them, my mom used to say a lot of stuff about how the neighborhood was bad and how this could happen and how that could happen. And you know, I ain't trying to say she won't right, because while she was trying to keep me away from it, these dudes that I was rolling with was trying to teach me how to defend myself from it. And I learned how to defend myself from the streets by rolling on the streets. But at the same time, it kind of made me think like, yo, if you knew that this was that bad or you had the power to change it, why didn't you change it? If we in the environment that you don't like to be in, then why are we here? And I never understood that. And it's still something that I can't get an answer to right now. But bro, like I might add that these that both of the guys that I was rolling with back in the day, who used to smoke weed all the time and fight all the time, both of those guys are proudly serving in the United States Army, one for 7 years, one for 9, I think, at this point. So yeah, like I mean, they couldn't have been that bad, but you know, yeah, like yeah, it's you brought the issue of you know, you and your family, your mom and dad, two different perspectives coming together, bro. Like I think about that all the time, because like I have a bit of a hardened exterior than Alyssa does, being that she is from where she is, being she's from where she's from. And I think about like, yo, how would that affect our children? And I think about it like in the same aspect. They get the best of both worlds. They get to understand that the world is a very dark place. They get to understand that it's a fucked up place. They get to understand that being charitable is the way to go. But at the same time, they get from their mother the lightness. And I'm not talking about skin color. I want everybody to catch this. They get the what is it? The kindness, right? They get, because I don't have that in me, bro. Like I'm being real. Like I'm a nice person, but kindness in general, like you just think about that word kindness and what that means. Like, yo, I promise you, like I'm not about to like, I have to think about going out of my way for people, and I do on a very consistent basis, but it's not something that's genetically coded in me. But Alyssa, on the other hand, she's a bright personality, and they get to get the fun part, like the life, the part of human kindness that sees and embraces those things, the things of light. You know, if I made that, I probably ain't make that sound as clear as I wanted to, but you know, because it sounded like I was really getting on skin color there, but you know, I'm not even. Yeah, that was
it's kind of like saying they, like you said, they get the best of both worlds. They get this kind-hearted, gentle soul, and they also get this dedicated, disciplined soul. because that, like I said, that's just like how my family is. Not to say that either one of them is wrong in their mindset, because our neighborhood did have some riffraff, some horror stories,
some sketchy stuff.
Yeah. But that's depending on how much more bad or good a place is. It depends on the place. Yes. Some areas have a little less crime than others. Some is rampant with crime than others. But crime is crime. Good and evil is everywhere. Doesn't matter what city you go to. You could go to a city or a town or something. Everybody's nice. Everybody's hunky dory. It may seem like all right, this a happy place. This is a good place. But what's the catch? We're not saying that you should go in and just be oblivious to everything. Because people you could have some neighbors, and they don't want you there, but they're gonna play nice, and they're gonna but the first chance they get, they turn it on you guys to get you out. And that's a mindset that's acquired from previous
generations,
generations and environments also. But you should always want to take from your environment, and if not learn from your environment and make it better, at least take it somewhere where it can, you can plant a seed and it can grow. Because everybody has a different upbringing, everybody has a story. But learning from that story is what people need to learn how to do. Because all it is a decision. Like the story we said before about the twins, they both had the same upbringing. They both grew up in the same environment, but they chose two different paths of life. Your environment is your starting point. It's not your end point. That I'm gonna say that throughout this entire episode. It is your start, not your finish. So let it put you in the mindset to go somewhere and be better, or at least make that place better. Whichever path you choose, just do better.
Man. Like I still think back sometimes on that conversation of like when I had with that old dude, and we got so pissed off at each other in that conversation, bro. Like so pissed. Like, and he was one of the guys that I was telling you about who went with the group to report me to HR for harassing them to be better people. Like, which started off with a conversation about money. But the general manager ended up agreeing with me because, well, I learned something from her as well. And like they went back and tried to say like one of the principles that she said to me, and they try to put that in their harassment case, and she was like, "Oh, just go ahead and drop that. Just go ahead and drop that. It's already handled. Like, don't even worry about it." Like, there was nothing you could do about that, I guess. But yeah, like I was having a conversation with this guy, man, and he just was like, man, like the parents need to be the ones to discipline their kids and do this to their kids. And I'm like, yo, I don't think you understand. It's not about discipline. This is an environmental struggle. Like, it's not about discipline. It's not about how bad you can whoop your kids when they do something wrong. But because I promise you, I got my ass whooped at least 92 times. I only learned a lesson from one. I'm just being real. I probably got my ass beat in the most creative ways and the most ways, the most in general. Like I got my ass whooped day in and day out for a little bit of everything, bro. I never learned the lesson. I never learned it. So for anybody out there who feels like it's discipline, it's a discipline thing. No, it's not a discipline thing. No, these children who you see that just act out in public, they're not acting out in public because they're not disciplined. They're acting out in public because they don't have principles to not act out in public. They don't have values. It's not instilled in them for them to not do it. Like it is what it is. That's why they continue growing up to do the same exact thing on a bigger scale as full-grown adults, because they never learned those values or those principles, right? So when I was talking to this man, he said that the kids need to be changed at home. And I was like, all right, I feel you there, and you're right. But what happens if the people who are supposed to teach them don't know? So I throw the equation at you, Ma. So the kids should learn it at home before they go to school, right? The school should enforce it, and the school should capitalize on the principles and the values that's learned at home. But if the school can't capitalize or teach the values because it's not taught at home, because the people at home are not teaching it, where do we go?
Ooh, that's why I really respect I don't want to get it wrong. I don't know if it's Japan, but anyway, other cultures, because there's a culture out that way.
Everyone but this one. That's what I'm gonna say. Every culture but this one.
The first 2 years? I think the first 2 years of learning, basically, first and second grade, it's nothing but core values, or it might be just the first year. There's no, math or any,
right.
It's just how to be a better person. That's why out there, like you see kindness is upheld. There's things that they just do naturally. There's no rule, there's no law, but it's just a unspoken rule that they just do, and it's just straight out of kindness. You see trash on the ground, you pick it up. It's one of the cleanest. If there's an accident on the road, all right, get to the side, let the EMT or whatever, servicemen come, get the accident clear. All right, we get back to what we're doing. You try to do that here, accident happened, everybody, oh man, why traffic backed up? You're making it harder for the rescue squad or something to get to the point so we can move past this. And you said something that really stuck out. It's not discipline, but the values, because when I got to a certain age, discipline stops. And you can give the lectures, you can give the speeches of if your older son, daughter, older child gets in trouble, but if they don't care, they don't care. They're gonna do what they want to do. And
all like a duck and quack like a duck.
my father said it one time, and he was like, they're gonna do what they want to do. We can sit here and speak to them. He didn't necessarily say it just like that, but it was similar like that. And I was just like, when you said that about discipline, I was like, you're right. Because if I didn't really, care about something, or care about their way of thinking, I was gonna do something I wasn't supposed to anyway. But them teaching me the bare basics of because we grew up in the church, so I got the whole spiel of right and wrong, prayer, faith, all this. Certain things I held to a higher value, and that's why my character is my character today. Because the things that I were taught were valued, they were distilled in me. I connected with them on a deeper level than other people, so I stood out. And how do we? It was just mind blowing right now, but Like, how do we get that into schools? Not saying like church or anything, even though we could use a
Like,
little
bro, for
Jesus
real.
and everything.
I was trying to have the conversation with my man, dog. And like the reason why I was trying to have this conversation was because I was in network marketing and I was trying to sell him on a better lifestyle. I wasn't even trying to sell him product, bro. I was just trying to sell him on a better lifestyle, dog. Because he was just like, he was one of those dudes that, you know, back in my day kind of people. You know, one of those. Don't nothing good happen right now, but back in the day, when I used to be in the army, when I used to travel and do this, like nothing happening right now. Talking like a dude who don't spend time with his wife, but he collect porn and you know brag about how he jack off so much that his eye go off to the back of his neck. But yeah, like we talking like one of these kind of dudes, bro. Like sick in the head, bro. But yeah, like I was telling my man, like, yo, for real, this ain't even about the school. This ain't even about home, bro. This is about community. This is about community, bro. Like, yo, for real, it gotta be an outreach situation to where somebody is reaching out to the parents and say, there's a better way. I don't know how we gonna find a better way, but I need your hand so we can walk together and find that better way, bro. Because like what we doing ain't working, bro. Like you still like you got communities out here that's flourishing over like, and this is not even a white thing, black thing, bro. Like like where I live at, Petersburg. Ain't nobody tripping over Petersburg, bro. Like ain't nobody like, yo, I gotta visit Petersburg. We got a whole historical downtown tourist site, everything. Ain't nobody tripping on coming to Petersburg to see it. Petersburg ain't making no money off tourism right now. I promise you it's not. Ain't nobody trying to see this. In fact, it's so bad that if you say in other parts of the state that this is where you from, bro, people, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that. Like for real. Like, yo, I'm being real. Like I just
at least they know where Petersburg is. I try to explain that. They be like, where that at?
Under Richmond.
I'm like, God, jeez. All right. So do you know where this place is? They be like, yeah. Do you know where this place is? Yeah. Man, we are smack dab in the middle. Like, how you not? You gotta.
Because it ain't important, bro. It ain't important. Like nobody. And the crazy thing about it, it's one of the biggest cities in this area, and people still don't recognize it.
It's a community thing. Like we got to get the community to help out and just do better.
Yeah. The community itself, man, gotta get together, man. Like people have to stop being so afraid of each other too. Like that's one thing. Like like I'm being real. Like yo, I'm not somebody who not guilty of this. Like I see people who like say like I'm like in the street somewhere and like I even get weary when it comes to like dealing with some people. Like yo, you got a certain look about you, you got a certain swag to you, certain style. Like I know what you about already, and like for real, like I get to a point where like I know what's going to happen, or I feel like I know what's going to happen, so I just stay away from it altogether. And I know I probably need to stop doing that. I mean, now that I'm an adult, like I see it a little bit different than I used to, because like I used to be like that. I used to feel like that for real. Like but we get so afraid of jumping into other people's business because we don't want to be the one to get shot down when those people reject us, because we so afraid of rejection. We afraid to reach out to people who doing wrong. And it's like, yo, it's what we talked about, the people around you being shit and you just allowing them to be shit in your presence. Like, yo, we get afraid to correct these people when they're doing wrong because we don't want to either lose them, or we don't want to jeopardize the friendship, or we don't want to be labeled as that person. But for real, like it's going to take some of those people. It's going to take some of those people to go into the darkness and start shining light. And whoever got their blinds open, we here to shine light into their house, like for real. Like I'm just saying, like, yo, the sun shines every day. The sun shines every day. I want y'all to hear this. Like, the sun shines every day. Whether you see it or not, that's not the sun's problem. The sun gonna shine. So for real, it's up to us as people to be the sunshine. So we had to be better people in order to create better people. And honestly, it's going to be real hard to create better people if the people who are in charge of creating those people are corrupt too. I'm just being real. We're just being real. If we not the ones that are pushing the trend, and that's why this podcast is a thing. That's why we here having this discussion. That's why we talk about the things that we talk about. It's because that somebody is going to look at this and change their entire perspective about how they feel about things and how they do things and how they move and operate in the world. And they're going to feel like they could be doing better. And that's what we want. We're here to address that elephant. We're here to address the fact that, you got some people who they don't do nothing but, gangbang. That's all they do is gangbang. That's all they do. And I ain't talking about the kind with the naked person in the middle. I'm talking about that all they do is straight up rep they hood, rep they set, fuck the 5-0, fuck the police. That's all they do. Like, and for people that think it's a race thing, no, it's not. Because I know black people and I know white people who feel the same exact way. I know they all do the same thing. I know black bloods, I know black Crips, I know white bloods, I know white Crips. What's up? Like, yo, it's not a race thing no more. It has nothing to do about race right now. The only thing that people should be concerned with is that the world is screwed up. But this is not what I want in the world. So what the government does is contain all the people who they think is a problem in one generalized location.
Yeah.
We had a whole term for it. It's called gentrification. The government pulls this whole card. They start rezoning shit so you can't afford nothing over here. They start rezoning stuff so you can't afford nothing over here. North side always got a lot of is always good on the north side, but the south side of every city. Why is it the south side of every city? I want y'all to think about that. Why is it the south side of every city that's the bad part of town? Think about it.
True.
But the thing that people need to understand is that if you don't do anything about the problem that you see in your community, you are part of the problem. It is what it is. It's not your environment that creates the problem. It's the people in your environment that are letting the problem persist and continue.
All right, peoples. So do better. It's gonna start with you first. Push to your children, your family members, your community, that we gotta be in a better place. We gotta make it a better place for the future generation. Get into the headspace that I want to leave behind something that'll make it not necessarily easier to the point that they'll get lazy, but it's a little more easier. It's a little more safer for my kid, my kids' kids, my sister's kids, just the new generation to have an open mind and dream big and to go further, to want to get out of this town, that this town isn't their birthplace and their deathbed, their graveyard, death place, but whatever. Get them into, or want to get them into a headspace where the sky is the limit. They can be Jeff Bezos, they can be greater than Bill Gates and all these other, very, very wealthy people. We got to do better, and it got to start with us to change our community.
Got to start with us. Start with us.
Like us on Instagram, follow this video on YouTube. Like,
you gotta say it like you want them to do it, huh? You gotta tell them like you want them to do it, man.
Look,
hey, y'all better hit that like button. You watching this shit on Facebook, Instagram, man, Facebook. But yeah, YouTube. Watching our content on anything, anything. Like it,
share it,
share it. Like share it for real. Like yo, for real. Like every problem that we talk about is not exclusive to us.
It's not. It happens everywhere.
There's no problem that we have that is just exclusive to us in general. Like for real. Like we all deal with this same thing everywhere we are. Everywhere. We all sit in an environment that we don't particularly like and could be better. That's the whole situation of reaching for better things in life, because it ain't about what you have, it ain't about what you want, it's about the things that you don't want. So look around you and see what you don't want, then share this video. What you don't want is for people to not to hear or see this information in front of them. And speaking of seeing us, make sure that you guys go to ajmcmullen.com. The book is still on sale. The Gem State Siege is still at its discounted price of $5.99 online, and that will be changed very soon. So you might want to go ahead and get you a copy before it does. Also, you guys can catch me at the if you're in the North Carolina area, or North Carolina, South Carolina, wherever you're coming from, to go to GalaxyCon Raleigh. I will be there. I will have a table doing book signings and giving out free gifts to everybody who comes visit. So make sure you guys get there to RDU and come see me at Raleigh and at the Raleigh Convention Center on July 29th through August 1st.
Hey, let's get it.
All right. So if that's all we got, man, we can go ahead and end this podcast, man.
All righty. This has been the Dirty Trunk podcast with the elephant. It's always welcome. All right. We signing out.
Peace. Love y'all. See y'all next week.